You ever got into a parenting argument online and thought to yourself, Jesus, this person lives on a whole different planet? Like, how can they seriously believe this? Their points don't make sense. And when you clearly and plainly explain your side with all the receipts, they just stare at you blankly and still don't get it? Well, here's the plot twist. Chances are they think exactly the same about you, because social media has you trapped in completely different realities. I know firsthand how easy it is to get trapped into something like this. So a little while ago, I saw a clip of Elon Musk seemingly abandoning his child X. And look, I'm already not a fan of Musk's parenting. This clip fit perfectly into how I see his potential choices in my head. So I made a funny video reacting to it. But then the next day, the full footage became available. And it became clear that Elon Musk did not abandon his child in this specific instance. I immediately corrected myself. I changed the title, changed the thumbnail, pinned the comment, responded to a few comments indicating that, hey, this was a mistake, and even went as far as filming a correction video. But I did not take the original video down because I believe that it's important to see the thought process, mistakes, corrections, etc. The first video kept gaining traction, whereas the second one got much less engagement, and even with all the additions, the original video kept being taken as the truth. And that, my friends, is exactly how social media echo chambers work. Online echo chambers happen when we are only exposed to information that closely matches what we already believe. And this happens all the time because social media platforms are not created to keep us informed. They are created to keep us engaged. And this is a very big difference. When it comes to engagement, the easiest way to keep you on the platform is to keep feeding you content that you most likely already agree with, while filtering out anything that may make us rage quit. Over time, we get stuck in this feedback loop, and our online presence becomes an illusion of everyone being just like us, and that any opposing views are rare, extreme, or just plain wrong. And pair it with the fact that even in real life, we are much more likely to surround ourselves with people we agree with. That polarization, amplified by social media filtering and algorithms, just keeps getting worse. And it's actually super interesting how every platform keeps you in an echo chamber in its own unique way. Here's a breakdown, although obviously this is a very liberal approximation of the algorithms, and they slightly change all the time. Facebook seems to favor what you like, comment, and share. So for example, if you're in a Facebook group that is about breastfeeding challenges and mostly engage with this kind of content, Facebook may assume that this is all you want to see. And over time, your feed fills with more posts that have to do with breastfeeding difficulties, formula ads, etc., and fewer posts that present a balanced perspective or ways to reclaim your breastfeeding journey. Instagram and TikTok work slightly differently these days. Watch time rules here, and if you spend a few more seconds than usual on a post that has to do with gentle parenting, the algorithm will show you more gentle parenting content. And the catch is that you will be sucked into this perfect gentle parenting bubble and may not see more realistic content discussing failed attempts and challenges, as opposed to just this rainbows and unicorns picture of well-behaved, happily playing kids. And TikTok can be especially aggressive with this because it learns from what you stop scrolling for, even if you don't like or comment. So if you pause on a video heavily raving about sleep training, suddenly all your feed will become just that. YouTube uses the rabbit hole effect, with the recommendations system pushing you heavily towards the content that is very much like what you have just watched, and presenting you with increasingly extreme versions of it. If you are curious about homeschooling and watch a video titled "Why Homeschooling Works for My Family," the next one will be "Raising Kids in a Prepper Bunker," closely followed by "Why Schools Are Designed to Make Kids Fail." And before you know it, you're very much deep into this extreme rabbit hole that doesn't provide any other perspective and may actually cloud your judgment and deprive you of information that might be useful for your family. And the impacts of echo chambers are not just evident on what we believe, but also on how we interact with other parents. Parenting is already filled with with pretty big decisions, but polarization on social media creates this wild us versus them mentality on many topics and turns simple choices into full-on battles. Furthermore, if your access is limited to only one side of the discussion, you might actually miss out on helpful nuggets of information from the other side, which may mesh really well into your family and make your parenting easier. And on top of all of that, if your social media is constantly filled with what you perceive as perfect parenting, it may also impact your mental health. You may even feel like you're doing it all wrong, even if you're actually doing just fine. But fear not, because it's absolutely possible to break out of your echo chamber. But you do need to be proactive. Step 1 on social media is to follow people with different views. You don't have to put anything that really upsets you into your feed, but do try to curate a variety of different experiences. If you feed your baby with purees, join a baby-led weaning group, and you might just learn a thing or two about combining those approaches. And not just follow different content, engage with it. Comment, like, share, even if it's just sharing it to your own messages. Because if you only interact with one type of content, this is all you will ever see. Even if you don't fully agree, there is always a way to engage while being respectful so that you keep different opinion juices flowing into your feed. The next one is something that my story about the Elon Musk situation closely relates to. Be especially skeptical of viral takes. Just because something looks sensational or has thousands of shares, unfortunately doesn't mean that it's true. So before sharing or interacting, ask yourself, could there be a different perspective, etc. As a uni graduated scientist, the next one I think is just of utmost importance, and this is to not just rely on social media. It's easy, it's snackable, it's fun to consume. However, it will probably never give you a fully balanced picture. So things like books, peer-reviewed articles, and reputable academic websites are your go-to to fact-check any information. And another great non-social media source is real-life parenting groups. By seeing faces behind keyboards, you will quickly realize that no one is really out there to get you. At the end of the day, we can all learn from each other. And with that in mind, it's also super important to practice open-minded conversations without getting all heated up, offended, rude, etc. Maybe ask a few questions, ask why they think that way, or provide some food for thought. And another thing that I love doing is challenging my own thinking and asking myself constantly, could I be wrong? In fact, there is nothing I love more than being wrong, because then at least it means that I've learned something. So anyone can fall into an echo chamber, but you don't have to stay there permanently. And branching out doesn't mean you have to change your mind. It just means that your decisions are based on full, or at least fuller picture, not just one side of it. Although, doesn't matter how open-minded I am, nothing can convince me that Jordan Peterson's parenting advice is worth following, and if you watch this next video, I will give you 5 reasons why I absolutely detest the guy.